Welcome back, and today we're talking about Noblesse episode 9. So like always, let's just jump into it. Episode 9 of Noblesse, we're still in the flashback episodes, and I absolutely loved this episode. We got background story for Rai, his role, how important he is to the nobles and stuff like that. We also got the backstory for Frankenstein and why he is so indebted to Rai, why he cares about Rai so much, and why he, after 500 years, is still under his service. And now we also know why he has lived for so long. We got a lot of questions answered, but we also got a couple of new questions, right? And I absolutely love this episode. I know at the beginning of this season, I felt like it was really dragging along, right? Like we didn't see Rai do anything for the longest time, right? And it felt very slow. And honestly, we didn't know anything about these characters until now. And it all kind of fits in very, very well. But before we jump into the rest of the episode, let me remind you to like and subscribe. Definitely helps the channel out. But let's talk about Noblesse, because this episode we just learned so much. Essentially, Frankenstein kind of stumbled upon Rai's mansion. He kind of tried to play it off like he was like the new butler. And for some reason, Rai decided to kind of let him in and be under his service. And he sent Gajutel and Ragar back. Like he just told them to go away, that he's going to talk to the Lord later on. So that should tell you that Rai is definitely a very important person in the noble society, right? So he has a lot of power, and we still don't know what it is yet, right? We just know that he's one of the leaders of the nobles, right? He's kind of leading next to the Lord himself. Like they're kind of on equal footings. That's why the lords, they kind of left and let Rai kind of do whatever he wanted. So that was kind of awesome right there. But really the interesting thing is, I feel like the only reason Rai kind of allowed Frankenstein to come in and live there and be protected by him is because nobody else did what Frankenstein did, right? Like Rai really just wanted to live by himself, be alone. That was the role he was given, or the role that he chose. And everybody literally just followed suit. Nobody tried to go check on him. Nobody tried to live with him, tried to see how he was. It wasn't until Frankenstein kind of walked into the mansion that he maybe didn't feel that connection. And that's why he kind of allowed him to live there. Maybe they'll actually break that relationship even further. I really want to kind of dive into Rai's head and kind of know for a fact, right? Why did he allow Frankenstein to go in there, right? I can't imagine that it was just out of sheer luck. I feel like Rai definitely either he felt a close relationship to Frankenstein. Maybe he was so happy that somebody finally came to see him after so long. So hopefully they kind of dive into that. Now, 5 years do go by where Frankenstein is under Rai's service, and he's actually getting along with Ragar. Not so much Gajutel, because he is kind of sparring with Ragar, and heck, he even took his hand. It wasn't until, last episode they were fighting and trying to take each other's lives. And the fact that Frankenstein is still alive after 5 years, and the Lord is not sending anybody to get him, to pay for all the nobles he has killed. Again, that should kind of give you a little understanding of how much power Rai really has in the noble society, right? Heck, they even talk about it whenever Frankenstein finally goes to Lucademia to meet the Lord. He kind of explains a little thing, right? That the Lord, he's kind of like the ruler of all the nobles. But Rai, and this is my understanding, if I get it wrong, please do tell me in the comments, because I really want to dive into the history of this, the nobles. It seems very interesting to me. But it seems like Rai, he's like the enforcer, where the Lord and Rai, they're kind of ruling together, right? Where the Lord, he's kind of dealing with the populace, all the lords, all the nobles. And if they step out of line, they break any laws to where the Lord can deal with them, that's when Rai will step in and put them in check, right? In servitude, destroy them if it needs to be done. And that's why kind of Rai is living by himself, just enjoying life, as in being alone, watching the land, watching the trees, watching the earth. That's why he took enjoyment. Maybe because he doesn't enjoy going after all these people. I really want to know why Rai was picked for this role. Obviously, it has something to do with power. He seems very, very powerful. But I feel like how do you get picked for this role? Is it automatically bestowed upon you because you're the most powerful noble there is? Who knows? But I hope they definitely break that down, because I really want to know more about Rai's past. But we also see why Frankenstein is so adamant to not letting Rai go back to Lucademia to meet the new Lord, because he sees just how different Rai is today in the modern day compared to how he was so long ago. We see that, Frankenstein deeply does care about Rai, to the point where they made a blood contract. So that was very important for Frankenstein and Rai. That's why Frankenstein has been able to live for so long. Now, the other interesting part was whenever that new character, Urokai, whatever his name is, whenever he came in to try to fight Frankenstein, I honestly feel like the animation, if it would have been better, like if the fight would have had, like, I wouldn't say God of High School top tier animation, but at the very least good animation, because honestly it felt like very stiff. It wasn't very fluid. I feel like they could have done a lot better. Maybe they're still saving some of the budget for the later episodes, because we did get a big kind of like hint as to what's to come, and we only got 3 episodes left, so they're probably saving the budget for that. But if this episode would have had the big fight between Frankenstein and Urokai be a lot more flashy, a lot more fluid, with the animation being top tier, I feel like this episode would have gotten a lot of fans, because it would have been an awesome fight. We see Frankenstein, he loses control, and he just goes kind of like berserk. He was taking on Urokai, he was about to take on Gajitel and Ragar, all 3 of them, and I'm pretty sure he would have given them like a run for their money. I really want to know how Frankenstein just became so powerful. That's one of those things that they didn't answer in this episode, right? They kind of just dived into the characters and why they are so loyal to each other, right? Because of that blood pact that Rai and Frankenstein have. So I really wish they would have gone deeper. Maybe we're still going to do a couple more flashbacks. I doubt it, because we are in the present time. But I really want to know how Frankenstein got his powers. What's the source of it, right? Because he had it before he made the blood contract with Rai. So I want to know that. Now, whenever he went berserk, something interesting happened. The Lord and Rai both showed up. So either they sensed the dangerous situation and they came to deal with it. And we didn't get to see the Lord in action. I kind of wish I would have seen him in action. I don't think he's quite as powerful as Rai. Again, if that was the case, then I feel like Rai would have been the Lord, and then the Lord would have been in Rai's like enforcer position, right? So again, they do need to break that down. I don't know if they're going to do it in the next 3 episodes, because I feel like they're not going to have time to fit it in. But if they have done it in the webtoon, please let me know, because I might read the webtoon. We'll see. But yeah, we see that the Lord and Rai kind of show up to stop Frankenstein. And we see Rai take a little bit of his blood to command him to stop, right? I honestly thought that was a blood contract at first, but that was not it, because I was like already thinking, well, if that's the blood contract, does that mean he did a blood contract with M21 or M23? I lose count how many M's we got, but because he did the same thing with him, right, where he got a little bit of his blood into his lips. So I thought he had a contract with Frankenstein and now had a contract with M20 whatever, but that's not the case. That was not a blood contract. He essentially just used the blood to calm down Frankenstein, and it worked. Later on, we see Frankenstein make that blood contract with Rai, and the best important thing is that it has to be a mutual thing, right? It can be a one-sided thing, because we see that Frankenstein, he didn't tell Rai about the blood. He just put it in his tea and gave it to him. I'm guessing Frankenstein was trying to like force a blood contract, maybe. And of course Rai was able to detect it, and then that's what he explained, that it needs to be a mutual thing, right? And they both accepted. The blood contract is done. Again, Frankenstein life is gonna be eternal at this point. I'm guessing if Frankenstein or Rai die, or maybe if Rai dies, then both of them would die. But I don't think if Frankenstein dies, Rai will also die, right? I don't know how that would work. Maybe that is the case, where if either of them die, both of them die, because they did say they were linked together for eternity. So maybe that is the case. But I don't see anybody taking Rai or Frankenstein out anytime soon, because we just saw how powerful Frankenstein is if it loses control. Now, the last thing, of course, is kind of Frankenstein telling Gajutel why Rai is never going to go to Lucademia, why he's never going to go back there, right? Because going back to his home country means living alone by himself. And after experiencing friendship, right, with Regis, Sierra, and the other students, I don't know their name. I honestly do think those students are kind of like irrelevant to the story. Like, I really don't care about those characters at all. I only care about like Frankenstein, Rai, Regis, Sierra, and maybe even the whole history that the nobles have, right? Like, I care more about the current lord than I do any other character. But yeah, I want to see what's going to happen, because we see that the current lord, she's sending what's some dude's name? I forgot the dude's name. But he's sending him to go and retrieve Sierra. She's one of the clan's lords, so she's gonna read her mind and she's gonna get everything out. I don't know why Gajutel wouldn't let the lord kind of read his mind so she can be at ease, right? Because we know that she has like a vendetta against Rai, and it has something to do with the demise of the last lord. We don't know exactly what happened there. We still need answers to that. Hopefully we get it in the next 3 episodes. But overall, this episode, absolutely great. I feel like how slow the anime started, this episode kind of made up for it. It kind of, everything made sense. So I really am digging it. I can't wait for episode 10. I can't wait to see what's going to happen. Hopefully we get more flashbacks, because I really want to know about everything that happened 500 or 600 years ago with the previous lord and with Rai, because I feel like something happened there and we just don't know the full story. But let me know in the comments what you thought of this episode. And like always, leave a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next episode.